Hello, folks. Welcome. I am your happy healer lover. Today we have a great program for you. It is good to have you on board. Let's get this baby in going. We're going to have to keep things moving today, by the way. So forgive me for being fast. It's just the way... Oh, there it goes. Lovely. How lovely is that? Welcome to the program. We have a lot to cover. I don't know if we're going to be able to get over everything before the market opens. That's why I'm on just a tad bit early today. I do that at times when I know I have a lot to cover. Moderna's action on Tuesday has had it lose some of its gains from Monday. We saw a dramatic rise to $490 plus and even up to $500 from a modest $450 on Monday. Tuesday, the market gave back some of those gains, as we all know, but not nearly all of it. And then the question is, what happens when we get to where we are now? Because we gave up another 70 some odd dollars yesterday. And so the question is, do we have a continued hemorrhaging of Moderna or a rocket ship called Moderna for today? Or will the bleeding out of Moderna continue once the market opens? How will Moderna open? And we have a lot to cover and to consider. What's important to realize is the reason for the drop on Tuesday and to determine if that's the same environment exists today. And did it have an effect that lasted until Wednesday? Or is there a market reason for a better day today, this Thursday, and today is August 12th, 2021. I am your happy healer lover. The choice seems clear for both of these questions. The situation gets a bit more complicated than that. One of the things we're going to talk about is during these market drops, for the big thing this week, there was an infrastructure bill that was passed in the Senate. Largely inconsequential when it was taken up in Congress. Until then, it's very symbolic as to what might happen from this point. And we're guessing both the soft and hard stimulus will play a role in this passage, and they seem attached at the hip, if you ask me. And so perhaps the market is going to derive a message from that. So we'll look further at that and join us to explore the answers to these questions and to so many more on Moderna Excels every morning at 9 a.m. And let's watch that market together and see what opportunities we can find. So this is Thursday, August 12th, and this is considered a new show, by the way. We haven't been around for the longest time, but it is good to be around now. And this is perhaps our, I think, 10th show. And so we're making a few changes. And so today is today I just want to tell you that the Moderna Excels brand will continue, but now we're also being called money, how are we doing this? Money Market Mantics. That's what it'll be. And you'll see the sign on that. So God bless you. I wish us a great market morning, and let's hope it happens for us. And if you spent yesterday's market open with us, you were tempered not to go too far with those options contracts. On Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, you were repeatedly encouraged to by me to cash out with profitable moves and not to be concerned with losing as a bull more than you are with minimizing the losses. And that's very hard for people to do, you know. To accept loss is to accept defeat. And so Wednesday, you saw me close all of my earlier simultaneously called contracts for a minor loss, right? Those contracts were closed. In any event, despite how brutally beat up we were 30 plus points on the day. We managed to get out with a relatively small loss in our AMC contracts. And we opened a put and took a small profit on that as well. And that was Wednesday, actually. So Tuesday. So then Wednesday we picked up some more profit on put contracts. And we closed them out. And we profited over $3,000 yesterday. And that also included a $500 loss on AMC, which I hope comes up today or this week. I want to sell those contracts this week. I do this to show that it's okay to take put positions out, even as bulls. When we believe in the market trend and it's telling us that it's a profitable move. Though, trying to profit on both sides of a movement tends to be a dangerous thing. Remember last Friday? Bulls would and bears preferred to time the market according to their moves. And bears do the same as they want the market to get cheaper for them by being on the top down. And we serve the bears and the bulls on this channel. We're able to understand the sense in just about every market action, really, in terms of options contracts. One position I'm not very fond of is the short sell position, as you know, though that has nothing to do with options contracts. As for bulls in Moderna, the most consequential question for us today is this. Does Moderna at this current price, at this level of $385 hit its bottom yet? And if not, where is that bottom and at what price range and why? You must have a reason grounded in facts, because serious money is at stake. And because truth will keep you profitable in the market, just as it does in life itself. Our quick understanding of what plays out before us is our recognition of the truth as it happens, even if it's in contrast to what we believe would be the truth for those market conditions or what we want to happen. The truth is unveiled to us in real time, and because we have it should be, we should also be able to immediately tell when the market decides to do something other than what we expected. Meaning at that moment, we can act decisively and avoid a catastrophe. And finally, when you have no idea of what move is right to make next, and things begin to become unhinged and unclear, your information is no longer agreeing with the facts, and now you lost all ability to foretell what might come next. These are great times to sit out of the market, to observe, and to take notes so as to gain a sense of feeling and thought back. One can't put market action before the truth. The truth is what you studied it and forecasted it based on fact that it should be, coupled with complex forces that have nothing to do with you, the stock you're in or the play, but has everything to do with moving entire markets around. Such events also speak to you and become the greatest truth that matters in any market moment. These truths tell you that good things are to come. They tell you when bad things come too. Listening to them can make the market less painful. Being humble and moving when failing the conviction of victory within grasp are the best times to move, not on every position. Be willing to sit some out, though you can use and test systems of your own. And all of that I share to whatever effect you decide. Because I am not a financial advisor. I can't actually tell you what to do, but I can say what works for me. I can also be transparent and show you what I'm doing and explain why. It happens to be a great way to teach. Tuesday brought Moderna's market price down another $14 and ended at 8 p.m. with a price of $482. That was on Tuesday. And then we had some pretty far-reaching moves in the extended hours last night and this morning as well. And now it's at... where is this bottom? It was at 485, and now it's going into the 490s. It was 496 the last time I looked, and the time is 9:06. Unbelievable. Does the price even count if the market is not even open? Well, we know at most it's just a suggestion. And the open market will tell you what it will accept quickly. And a prediction in perhaps what direction the market will travel in concrete terms, it means nothing. The market has many times taken an opposite action other than what the extended market suggested or what your prediction was. So if the market is going down today, would you like to be part of profit making with that downward movement? Let's look at that bear case and see what kinds of opportunities bears can look forward to. First off, there's the obvious. They have been on the worst end of the market beatdown when it comes to Moderna for the past month. Plus, it's going to take some pulling back at points just to simply keep going forward. Yesterday would not be the first pullback we've experienced in Moderna in this last month either. Previously, Moderna would pull back roughly the same as it did yesterday, only to thrust forward another 50 to 60 points, making up for any downfalls, coupled with additional progress. So, the bear case is still in doubt in my mind, but it's not out altogether. There are many things going on in the market that would trip up the kind of progress Moderna's been making. One such yesterday could have very well been the passage of the roads and bridges stimulus package passed by the Senate. That could have been a reason for Moderna to slow down or even hiccup. U.S. Senate passes infrastructure H.R. 3684. That has me asking myself, in what ways will that affect Moderna's price for the negative in this week? Because that's what hurts bulls and bears. We need to know the answers to those questions. Does the infrastructure bill help or raise or lower interest in Moderna? At first glance, it's nothing that extends help of any kind to the COVID situation. It's pertaining to repair and maintenance, to crumbling bridges, not to the vaccination program in any regard. So, as for investors, it takes their focus from Moderna and perhaps to stocks that would stand to benefit from the passage of House Resolution 3068, which is the Roads and Bridge Initiative. Though no stocks are helped as well as crypto, it seems, as this bill is more of a perception of too much money printing at a time of higher inflation. That seems to be on everyone's minds, and it's driving the news cycle. Though, how long will that last for? I've checked the major coin indexes, and while at the time of checking, crypto was up, but in minimal amounts. If the rumor has been having a pretty steady push, these could be the latest effects of a bill that today I think is being seen as more symbolic ultimately. Because that is it. We won't get a passage of that bill, and nothing else happens until the fall, when a soft infrastructure and social programs are finally addressed. Funny enough, these MeetyMcGreedy mentioned Moderna on Tuesday, and then the stock takes a massive and monumental drop that nobody expected on Monday. Unbelievable. He has a way of sending his people on everything that tanks. Or maybe he's causing it to tank. I won't give him that much credit, but he sure doesn't get things right. And it costs his people. I don't think MeetyMcGreedy is consequential in the cost of Moderna. But I think all of this tells us something that will become the main takeaway for us ultimately. People won't be talking as much about infrastructure as they were yesterday or the days leading up to this bill's passage until the fall when they take it up again. So in the meantime, there's this lull. Capital gets shifted to various markets. Though by market open, I think the pressure might begin to dissipate. I'm reminded of the dreadful Delta variant that's driving a fear in the marketplace for reopening stocks. Also, many of those stocks have had recent runs. Moderna is still below its current value, as suggested by myself and others who hold credible weight. The sentiment on Moderna has remained more bullish than not. Increasingly bullish, in fact. Now that there's been a pullback, and because that pullback didn't erase all previous gains, but does appear to be a consolidation on the way down. For example, on the way up, it didn't consolidate that much. It just poofy-doof. But on the way down, it was hitting resistance points and retracement zones, having to read the chart to the 9th degree. In these lower numbers, these bulls had a chance to escape the beheading, and that's what we did. And it shows strength for bulls, even on days of their loss. Now the same bulls are charged up and ready. And so, in terms of market sentiment, I think bulls are in charge in that way and ready to go for Moderna. Many people are talking about seeing it go well past $500. That gives us an indication of what normal people are saying. If you were to compare Moderna to yesterday against the fall that AMC had, you could make a comparison on the percentage basis. And with AMC, it was a clean and steady drop. Likely some market manipulation. But you can see with Moderna, there was no clean and steady drop. It was meaning power showed up for Moderna, and the bulls were coming in, even as we were with our puts making money. Today, I feel, in yesterday's opening market action, we see Moderna run, this was on Tuesday, actually run briefly up beyond before falling below. It was almost to 500. And never rose above $4.99 though on the day. though it did have those 480 retracements that allowed for those who were willing to take the clue of it falling away from 490s to the 480 and 470 level and below that. And it gave them the opportunity to get out. They were grateful and stepped out. That's how they managed to avoid the beheading. And that's the action I took. And because I bought at 484 that day and sold some at 478, I did take some losses. Yes, I learned that the market will do the opposite of what you expect at first sometimes. But then it'll give you a hint of where it's going next by breaking away in ways that don't give you advantage. Then you will see a clear disadvantage. By this point, there's not a lot of movement, but usually enough to give you hints of those acts. By then, it's still likely the market will give you one time just to get out of the play with relatively low losses or small gains. If you fail to take that chance, the market will usually make you pay to get out, and often will steadily increase the cost to get out of that play. And that was the kind of morning that we had yesterday. So that was on Tuesday. So be clued into this market movements that give you the performance edge. Learn and listen. It goes today to say much anything can still happen on Moderna. Though, given that we've seen so much progress, one must also consider the possibility of a prolonged and protruded Moderna stock price consolidation that can turn into a downright red day. But we haven't seen consequential red days in Moderna for a long while now, until today and yesterday. I'm excluding days where there was plus or minus less than 2.5%. And the last time it did do that and staggered for a while was at the $350 level, not allowing us to break through for several weeks. Do you remember that? I don't see a particular level that we can't break through now. That's the good news. But right now, it's about rising above. It's about coming back. I wouldn't say it's having some troubles so much as it's only tested once getting to 500. It took us many failed attempts to finally break through 350. However, will 500 now become much like the resistance we felt at 350? That's the question. Well, we'll discover more of that, and I don't think there's evidence for that. But what I will say is, time now is 9:18. The market is getting ready to start in 12 minutes. And because I have a pre-prepared media set up for you, and we do talk about MeetyMcGreedy on this program because we make the comparing contrast between greed hell and, of course, American Mantics, the system that takes us to a better world. And so I will give to you now that contrast. Here is MeetyMcGreedy. Enjoy.
Landy. I really want to get to it. Apparently, Keith doesn't like my explanation on naked shorts. Well, Keith, I might just stop screaming.
I don't think 5 years down the line, the moves of hedge funds will have much of an influence on what I'm investing in. So I've never...
Most hedge funds can't even beat the market. These guys are trash.
Don't you think that historically hedge funds have used their influence to bankrupt companies? So maybe long term, yeah, they're not going to affect big companies, big corporations like Apple, but smaller ones like, AMC. I think when you have a machine that builds a narrative and tells news outlets that this stock's going to go down and it creates negative sentiment and investors pull out, I think it destroys companies. And I think it's kind of important to reveal that.
That gets more into short selling and not just specifically hedge funds then, in my opinion, because, short sellers are dirty. There's no doubt about that.
For sure.
Extremely tricky.
GameStop's still at 19%. There could still be some squeeze in there. But now I think people are going to be walking around with, I call it the shotgun approach, where in the momentum trades, it's kind of like, all right, we did AMC. And now, like, they could come back to AMC in the momentum trades. But right now, it's kind of like, oh, it's Clover, boom. It's Wendy's, boom, 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 boom. It's Workhorse, boom. Right? And then they go back, like, in the momentum trades. Feels like I just went to Vegas and won, and I really like it.
Right.
Wait, we were focused on AMC, and then they go back to AMC, pump that up, pump that up, pump that up, pump that up. My brilliant self thought, hey, you know what? Feels like I just went to Vegas and won, and I really like it.
Right.
Pump that up in the momentum trades, you know? So I think it's a little like, you know, like, you don't have to be, my brilliant self thought, how do I want to say, you don't have to be what is it? What do you only have one relation?
Monogamous.
Yeah, exactly. You could be a stock polygamist, and then they go back to AMC, pump that up in the momentum trades. There you go.
Well,
momentum trades.
Well, did you guys see that interview that Melissa Lee did? I forget with who.
Oh, with naked.
The guy just slipped up, or what happened? And her reaction was like, that was interesting. I don't know what to make of that.
See, like, they brought up naked shorting. She had this face of, like, death on her. I feel like she got, like, told in the earpiece, like, no, don't go there, drop that. And because her face was like, just like, and because her face was like.
The guy she was interviewing was basically admitting that, yeah, there's naked short selling on the market. Like, oh, confirmed.
But and I mean, like, the SEC doesn't say it's illegal. You know, in some cases it's okay, but it definitely has a really bad reputation. It's okay.
I saw that you posted that. Do you know how many days or like how long you could have it outstanding before it's considered illegal? Is it like a 3-day period or something?
It's okay, but as I think what it is, it's kind of like an intention. It's okay. My guess, it's within the settlement timeframes, like that 2-3 days. My guess, because really, if the rule is that, like, hey, look, if there's an illiquidity event, and it's like, oh crap, we did. My guess, as I think what it is, it's kind of like an intention. My guess, the broker just like, yeah, no problem. We'll my guess, customer service, you got it. We'll short 1 million shares of AMC for you. Okay, let's go locate that. Oh gosh, this is gonna be hard. And as long as they're putting like a good faith effort in, as I think what it is, it's kind of like an intention. That it's like, okay, like that happens in events of illiquidity. It's okay. But where it becomes a problem is if the brokers and market makers are colluding with funds that are shorting and like, yeah, we'll make it short that for you. Like, that's, I think, when it becomes illegal. That's my understanding.
That's such a gray area. Did you guys see that the SEC's rehiring the investigator for that? Because they got too close to the hedge funds, apparently.
Oh.
So the SEC they were doing the investigations for the naked short selling, and it's the inspector for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
Be very interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that would be very interesting.
So that's kind of interesting.